These are devotions for people at a social distance. This morning in my devotions, I was reading in John chapter 7. At the beginning of this chapter, we have this rather curious story. Jesus is dealing with some opposition, as happens often in this gospel, and it's saying that he's hanging around in Galilee specifically because he doesn't want to go down to Judea, where he knows there's lots of opposition and people who are apparently trying to kill him. And then something curious happens. So Jesus' brothers come up to him and they start to taunt him. And they say, "Leave here and go to Judea so that your disciples may also see the works you are doing. For no one wants to be widely known acts in secret. If you do these things, show yourself to the world." And then it adds in parentheses, "For not even his brothers believed in him." So they are saying, obviously, the opposite of what they mean. They are saying, oh, you need to be open, you need to be visible. And apparently, according to the Gospel of John, they're trying to get him killed by telling him to take unconscionable risks by going into dangerous territory. So Jesus, as often happens in the gospel, sees through their deception and he says, "No, my time's not yet come. I'm not going to go. You go to the festival. I am not going to this festival. My time has not yet come." And then it says in verse 9, and saying this, he remained in Galilee. But then verse 10 comes along. In verse 10, which we often don't read together because it gets separated by a new title, but verse 10 says, "But after his brothers had gone to the festival, then he also went." Not publicly, but as it were, in secret. And then as he goes on, while he's there, he begins to speak openly in the middle of the festival, so he doesn't even remain secret very long. So what's going on in this passage? I mean, fascinating story and on all kinds of things to think about. But I took a particular perspective on it today, a very personal one. Today's a special day for me. It's a special day for one very simple reason, because 2 weeks ago today, I got my second shot of the Moderna vaccine, which means as of today, as of right now, guess what? I am fully vaccinated with a very, very high level of immunity to COVID-19. Woohoo! Wonderful. And it's wonderful to be meeting and talking to people these days who are getting to that point. And all of a sudden, what do you do with that? We have been living for 15 or so months with continual caution. Now, what do we do when you're suddenly relatively so much more safe? Do you simply throw caution to the wind? No, of course not. You're not going to go out and be foolish, but there is a newfound freedom on this day. And I sort of just found myself where Jesus is in this passage. Okay, the habit is we need to be careful, we need to be cautious, let's stay out of Judea. And then all of a sudden you say, but wait a minute. Is life all about caution? And what are we going to do about that? And sort of, we are getting to the point where a lot of us are suddenly going to be able to feel a lot more freedom. And yes, of course, we should not use that freedom irresponsibly, but we still should use it. So after the brothers have gone to the festival, then we too can go. Once we get to this place, we can begin to think, well, how can I live out this freedom? And how might I live out this freedom today? Well, I might just go visit somebody in the church who I would have hesitated to visit up until this point. But maybe the time has come to start having some of those visits. That's about ministry, and it's about finding new freedom in ministry. And I'm thankful for that. Thankful for that possibility of safely doing some of the things that, God has called me to do. How do we live out our new freedom? Lord our God, thank you for the freedom that we are finding with vaccination. Let us live it out. Let us live it out with due caution and care, but also live out the freedom that you have given to us. Amen.